Mönchshof Kellerbier.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Got another one, yet another one, from the Mönchshof Brewery. I must have done nearly all of theirs now. They're a surprisingly good brewery. Now, yeah, they've been going since 1349, and in, I think it was 1984, they got taken over by the Kulmbacher Brewery. But they still brew some really good beer, and I've tried quite a few of their beers recently. I don't know how it's happened, but I've ended up with a lot of Kulmbacher beers, and I've just been reviewing them. I really don't want to go over the history. I've done it in all the other videos, so today I'm just going to talk about Keller beer, if you're not sure what Keller beer is. Now, Keller beer is probably the oldest traditional style of bottom fermented German lager in existence today. It is the original lager, if you like, and what's unique about it? Well, for starters, it's unfiltered, it's unpasteurised. Originally it was fermented in caves during the Middle Ages, and these caves were very cold, and what would happen is they would be put into these oak casks. There would be like a bunghole at the top.
I need CB for my bunghole!
That would be open, so all the CO2 would escape, and all the nasties, all the sulphurous flavours that are given off when the yeast are doing their work. And there would also be some spontaneous fermentation from the bacteria that was in the air. In fact, each cave, they say, I don't know how true this is, but each cave, they say, was unique in the different types of bacteria it would contain that would create the spontaneous fermentation. But it was basically matured in these oak casks in these caves because it was nice and cool. The yeast, it was bottom fermenting type yeast, so it would work better at colder temperatures. And that hole wasn't bunged up until it went for sale, and it would be served from these casks. And it's basically a tradition that has been carried on. Now, the original region that this was started off in was in Bavaria, in a region called Franconia, and this is where the Mönchshof Brewery are. Now, I don't know, I couldn't find it out, but I'm not sure whether these are the originators of that style. It could well have been Weihenstephaner, it could well have been the Weltenberg Brewery, the monastic brewery, because that would be around the time when Keller beer was invented, so it's debatable. But there you go. These, as I say, these have been going since 1349, so they've got a very, very long history. They were taken over by Kulmbacher in 1984. But as I said, they're still doing some good stuff. Now, getting back to Keller beer, I have tried a few Keller beers before. I have to say the two best Keller beers I've tried are from Hackershaw and Eyinger, both Bavarian breweries. So that is like a tradition in Bavaria, Keller beer. I mean, you can probably get it from most German brewers. I'm not saying most, but German brewers, but quite a few German brewers. But Bavaria is the area where it is prevalent. So now, if you've ever heard of zwickl beer, that is very similar. However, zwickl beer is beer that was fermented in caves in these casks, but it wasn't fermented for as long, and it wasn't as hop forward, and it was milder and darker compared to your Keller beer. There's a little subtle difference between the two. So, you know, if you see zwickl beer and you see Keller beer, they're pretty similar, but there is a slight difference, if you know what I mean. Zwickl beer is normally less strong in the ABV stakes, and it has a milder taste. It's not as hop forwards and hasn't got the strong malts that this stuff has got. And Keller beer, of course, makes an absolutely fantastic summer drink, and that's why I'm drinking it in the middle of November. So there you go. Anyway, enough about Keller beer. Let's investigate this beer. This is 5.4%. There's the label, and if you can see that there, that looks like a cellar, and that is what Keller beer translates to. And if I can get this autofocus to work, come on, you bastard, work. There you go. Right, if you can see them barrels in the cellar. Now, of course, years ago that would be caves, but they still did after, you know, they stopped fermenting it in caves. They would use cellars because they're nice and cool, and of course bottom fermenting yeast needs that cool temperature to work at its optimum. But yeah, of course this conforms to the Reinheitsgebot. It is unfiltered, it is unpasteurised, it's 5.4%, and all that remains really is let's get it open, let's see what's going on. Now it's got one of these flip top lids. Let's see what, yeah, it's like champagne, working class champagne, this shit. Get in the glass. Now it can vary in colour. It can be quite light, as the Inga Keller beer is, or it can be quite dark like this. Now this is an amber, unfiltered, unpasteurised. That's what it looks like, almost like a Weiss beer. And wow, yeah, there is big hop character in that. Remember what I said before about the zwickl beer and the Keller beer? The Keller beer has got much more of the hop character coming through in it. Yeah, it smells absolutely gorgeous. You can tell them noble hops straight away. They've got unique aroma to them, earthy, spicy, and a little bit grassy, if you know what I mean. It's lovely. That's really nice. In fact, all you're really getting there on the aroma is the hops, which is what you'd normally expect from a Keller beer. Now I'm just going to give that a little swig and pour it all in. Of course this is unfiltered and unpasteurised, so there is bound to be yeast suspension in there. So it's a good job to get everything into the glass out of the bottle. And there it is, that's everything. That's what it looks like. Almost looks like a Dunkelweiss. And on the nose, oh yeah, more of the grain coming through there now. You can really get that grain character in there now as well. And there's, you know, that sweet yeast that I've found in a lot of the Kulmbacher brews. I think they use a very similar strain of yeast in all their beers, and it's nice, it's sweet, and it complements the malts perfectly. Green King, take a note out of this Locks book. If you're going to use the same yeast in every beer, make sure it's nice and it's not a fucking horrible, I wouldn't say horrible play, but it's not as good, and it doesn't overpower the beer. Anyway, let's stop ranting. Let's get this down my Gregory. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. God, that is really nice. I am going to go out on a limb here and say that is probably the best Keller beer I've tried. Now that's some claim, isn't it? When you think about Hacker-Shaw and Inga, that is absolutely gorgeous. It is full of flavour. Real big hop character in this. If you're a fan of German noble hops, you're going to love this because it's there in abundance. You can really get that earth, the black pepper, but it doesn't give it a harsh, bitter finish. On the end of it, you're getting, well, on the finish, you're getting nice sweet malt coupled with that sweet honey type yeast. The two just mix really well, and I don't know whether that's roasted or not. I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, that is, because look at that colour. That has got some sort of roasting going on, and it gives it a slight caramel, sweet caramel finish on the end, and it really is nice. I have to say, this is one of the best Keller beers I've tried. Oh, that's really nice. I don't remember the Hacker-Shaw blowing me away like this. The Iinga was good, and the Hacker-Shaw was good, and they both got a 10 out of 10. But this, I think, has just done it for me, because it's really got some strong flavours in this, and with it being unfiltered and unpasteurised, you look at that and you think you're getting, you know, it could almost be a dark wheat beer, but it's not. This has got the drinkability of a lager, but a really, really flavoursome lager. Sweet, almost caramel style malt on the finish. Big, noble hop character, but it's not really bitter like a Pilsner. That is balanced out by them lovely sweet malts and the yeast on this. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Big earth on that. Real big earthy style flavours. That's what more or less dominates all the way through in the mouth. It's only on the finish that you start getting the sweet malts on this. I have to say, that is absolutely gorgeous, and it is exactly what I'd expect from a Keller beer. You have got everything in there. Nothing's been taken out. It's not been filtered. It's not been pasteurised. Now, craft brewers are doing that now. These were the original. This was the original lager, if you like. And this is lovely. And I am definitely going to be buying this one again. This is probably the most, as I say, one of the most flavoursome Keller beers. For me, there's three to choose from. I should really do a shootout, because I'm just remembering now, you know, the Hacker-Shaw stuff was absolutely amazing. Everything they do is brilliant. Hacker-Shaw, there's no doubt about that, no question. It is amazing. But this is not bad at all. I have to say, it's really nice. Oh, it's so Moorish as well. Oh, I could drink gallons of that. That is absolutely gorgeous. So what's the verdict on Mönchshof Kellerbier? That is amazing. And it's yet another winner from Mönchshof. I really, really like what they do. Now, I know they've been taken over by a big brewer, the Kulmbacher Brewery, and I know that, you know, sometimes when they get taken over, they change the recipe, etc. But I don't care. I didn't taste. Kulmbacher got taken over. Kulmbacher took these over in 1984. I never tasted what this stuff was like before then, so I can't really comment. I can only comment what I've got in my hand, and that is amazing. That is a lovely, real quality tasting German Keller beer. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It has to be. I can't give it anything less. Is it better than the Hacker-Shaw or the Iinga stuff? I don't know. The Iinga stuff I do remember has been a lot lighter. This is darker, and it's got a little bit more caramel malt on the flavour. The Hacker-Shaw stuff, from memory, I think it was lighter, and I don't think it had the flavour of it. It certainly didn't have that caramel malt on the finish, which, you know, for me, it just makes it that little bit Moorish. So the only way I'm going to be able to tell you convincingly who's the better out of the three, I would have to do a shootout. Maybe I will do that one day, but for me, this is up there with some of the best. That is absolutely gorgeous. That is a 10 out of 10. I urge you to get some of this. You can get it on Beers of Europe or from the Bavarian Beer Company. I've got some from them as well. They're really worth checking out. They do all the decent Bavarian beers. And yeah, 10 out of 10. Recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.